Minister, you gave a statement today regarding forfeiture of proceeds of crime, etc.
That's right.
Etc. I thought we already had some kind of forfeiture, but what was this statement basically about?
Well, I'll tell you, the significant difference in this drug assets or this assets forfeiture program is that it's before charging or conviction for any offense. This legislation mirrors what they have in the UK, the US, and Canada. Most developed countries have it now, where a person's lifestyle, where they cannot actually support, actually the acquisition of funds or assets. And the onus is on the person to prove that they gain them by a lawful means.
Mm-hmm. So if you're riding around in a BMW and you have no visible means of support, you might get a second look at by the police. That's
right. Coupled with your lifestyle. It depends if you're associated with known, perhaps gang members, drug dealers, etc., etc. Your association will bring you under the scrutiny of the police. Mm-hmm. That's correct.
And if they go in your house and find a pile of $50,000 in
yes.
cash, that could be taken right then and there. Then
it will be seized, yes, and you'll have to actually account for that. Mm-hmm. Yes.
But haven't you gone to great lengths through retailers, banks, wholesalers, that anyone who takes large sums of money is themselves obligated to find out where that money came from?
They are obligated to report sums over a certain amount. Any type of transaction of a large amount of money, and I'm not certain just what the specified amount is, has to be reported by lawyers, banks, any other lending institution. That's correct.
Isn't that a lot less draconian than taking money from someone who's actually not been found guilty?
This is draconian legislation, I will admit that. On the face of it, it is draconian. However, the lifestyle, and there would have to be a systematic build-up, if you like, of behavior. Mm-hmm. Nevertheless, the person in front of a magistrate does have the opportunity to rebut. And it'll be on the balance of probabilities that the civil standard, that the assets would be forfeited. Now, if that cannot be proved to a level that the magistrate is happy that the assets could not have been gained by lawful means, then they'll be seized.
And that's important to you?
That's important, yes. But of course, as I say, they have to go in and get the civil standard applied. Now, there's something else that is going to be a bit frightening to some people, because this legislation will reach back 6 years.
How much?
6 years in the past. That's the civil standard. If you were going to have a claim for civil remedy, you could only take it back 6 years. This has the same parameters. So the authorities can reach back 6 years of acquired assets.
I would describe this as Al Capone legislation, because that's how Al Capone was triggered. He wasn't triggered on doing the deeds, he was triggered on tax evasion initially.
I presume
then he got the rest.
I presume you allude to the RICO Act in the United States. Right. It is very similar. That's right.
What happens to these funds that are confiscated?
They go into the confiscated assets fund, but they cannot be used willy-nilly, if you like, by the government or by the seizing authority. They have to go back to schemes that, such as interdiction, the police, justice system, etc., to actually mitigate the very means by which the funds were gained, drug rehabilitation, etc.
What about to any victims?
The legislation can be drafted to do that. If a victim had to be compensated, if it was proven that a person was the recipient of some adverse situation by the perpetrator, that could probably happen.
Mm-hmm. Does this just limit itself to monies? What about the things?
No, assets. Jewelry, cars, houses, yes. Yeah. In fact, a recent conviction, a person is going to have to sell their house to actually pay back the crown, if you like, for the fact that they have to pay $2 million. So this is in effect right now, as we speak, part of it. But that person had been convicted. Mm-hmm. The salient difference is that person can be accused of a lifestyle that would indicate that they should not have these vast assets.
Do the police have a list?
I'm not at liberty to say at this point. I don't know, but I would imagine that people who've been involved in criminality and maybe convicted of previous crimes could now be shaken in the boots and very rapidly trying to move the assets.
I mean, if a person can undervalue their assets to sell, will the government then take over and hold auctions to divest these assets?
That could be a part of the process. Could be, yes.